What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich. We are back for NFL prop bets today. We had a good day on Thursday, swept the board, even though the game, as predicted, was terrible. But that's all right. We got a great slate today, obviously headlined by Cowboys and Eagles, along with Chiefs and Bills. Big rematch game between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. It's one of those things, like, as much as I want to enjoy the game, I still have to go to the props. I still got to talk about the props. So in that game in particular, we talked about a prop last week with Josh Jacobs going over his receiving yards against the Chiefs because the Chiefs allowed the most receiving yards, targets, and receptions to the running back position. And we're going back to the well on this one. Devin Singletary over 21.5 receiving yards. This is a line that I think is very fair for Singletary. It seems a little bit high even for a player of his caliber, but he's gone over in his last two competitive games with at least 47 yards in each of those contests. Obviously, last game against Pittsburgh, he didn't have to do a whole lot thanks to Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen. But up against Kansas City, it will be a little bit different. And so Kansas City, like I mentioned, allows the most yards to the running back position out of the backfield. And in their games this season, these are the running backs that have gone over 21.5 versus them. Week 1, Eno Benjamin and James Conner. Week 2, Austin Eckler. Week 3, Nyheim Hines, who had 23. Jonathan Taylor actually had 20, so he came that close. Week 4, Rachaad White had 50. Leonard Fournette had 57. Josh Jacobs had 39, and Brandon Bolden had 29. So again, 3 weeks of the season, 2 running backs for these teams have gone over 21.5 receiving yards. We know that Devin Singletary will be an option in the passing game. He's a guy who just catches the ball a ton. He is running some of the most routes in all of football out of the backfield. So again, he's a guy you do want to target for your props. Devin Singletary over 21.5 receiving yards is a great prop. Like I mentioned, just the game logs of these players alone screams that you should probably take this prop. And on top of that, he is running a lot of routes out of the backfield. I believe he's 9th highest in all of football right now for routes run at the running back position. So you want to take Devin Singletary over 21.5 receiving yards today. The next bet I want to go to, we are going to Seattle to talk about Seattle versus Arizona. Should be a decent game. Some people think it could be high scoring. Some people think it could be low scoring. We'll see. Seattle's been in a lot of shootouts this year. But I'm looking to Tyler Lockett. The reason why I'm targeting Tyler Lockett in this one is because he is the zone beater for the Seattle Seahawks. The Arizona Cardinals opened up the season, ran man on about 40% of coverages. But since then, they've been running it less and less each week. Per PFF, the Arizona Cardinals have run man coverage on only 10% of plays so far in the past 2 weeks. And that means that if that's how they're going to be playing these defenses, then that means Tyler Lockett's a guy that's going to thrive. Tyler Lockett is a man who has a 30% target share versus zone coverage and 9th in yards per route run versus zone versus a 23% target share versus man coverage. So you see the way these two players operate. DK Metcalf is the man beater for the Seahawks, and Tyler Lockett is the zone beater. Tyler Lockett's also 7th in fantasy points per game versus zone. So another reason why, if you're playing in DFS or you're playing in fantasy leagues, make sure you start Tyler Lockett. Over his last 4 games versus Arizona, Tyler Lockett has had no less than 67 receiving yards and has totaled 480 receiving yards in those contests. Tyler Lockett is a great option. 67.5 is a pretty modest number. He's also gone over this number in his past 4 games. I think it's a smash play. Tyler Lockett's in a great spot. I think that they will be trailing versus the Cardinals. You know, we'll see. Those Cardinals, man, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't, but they are playing at home as well. So Seattle does have the home crowd behind them, which I think will be a little bit of a factor. But Tyler Lockett is in a great spot up against a team that runs zone a lot, and he's a guy who's been destroying zone this season. Like I mentioned, just kills Arizona on top of that. Just the history alone is a reason to take the over. But I do like the over for Tyler Lockett, over 67.5 receiving yards. I believe that number is best on DK, and Singletary's, I believe, as well as on DK, but maybe you could get it a little bit lower on PointsBet. I forget. They've been moving a little bit. I took them both yesterday, but I'm here for you today. And if you saw my Twitter, I did post the Devil Singletary bet yesterday with all the data behind that. So those are 2 bets I'm making today. Keeping it short, keeping it simple, trying to enjoy the games today. But make sure you drop me a like and subscribe for future content. We've been on a bit of a heater, so hoping it can continue today. And like I mentioned, those running backs out of the backfield versus Kansas City have just been money so far this season, so may continue to ride that going forward. But as always, if you tail, give them hell, and if we fail, do not bail. Devin Singletary over 21.5 receiving yards, and Tyler Lockett over 67.5 receiving yards. Let's make some money today. Good luck, everyone. I'm out. Peace.